They drained my lake while I was halfway across the globe, serving in a dusty outpost in Kuwait, because nothing says "welcome home, hero" like turning a soldier's sanctuary into a mud pit. I'd scraped together every penny to buy my dream cabin in Pinewood Shores, a sleepy coastal town in Oregon, back in the summer of 2023. That Lake Serenity Lake, I called it, was my slice of heaven, so calm it could hush a war zone. But one HOA president, Evelyn Harper, saw it as a personal insult to her iron grip on the neighborhood. While I was dodging sandstorms and real threats, she waged her own backyard campaign with pumps, lies, and a smirk that could sour whiskey. She didn't count on my team, a multi-million-dollar peer project, and a memory sharper than a bayonet. I'd barely unpacked when Evelyn showed up, her heels clicking like a countdown on my gravel driveway. She was mid-40s, with a bleach-blonde bob and a teal blazer that screamed, "I run this town." Her smile was all teeth, no warmth, and her eyes kept darting to my lake like it owed her money. "Welcome to Pinewood Shores," she said, her voice syrupy enough to gag on. She shoved a binder at me, thick as a brick, stuffed with rules about everything from fence heights to the exact hue of porch lights. She nitpicked my lawn, my mailbox, even the way my kayak was tied up, her gaze lingering on the lake with a hunger she tried to mask. I played nice, nodding like a good neighbor, but I'd seen her type before, petty tyrants who think a clipboard makes them general of their own little empire. I was prepping for a 9-month deployment, so I figured cooperation was smarter than a fight. I agreed to mow my grass to her precise 2.5 inches and repaint my mailbox to match her approved shade of slate gray. It wasn't surrender, it was strategy. In the Army, you learn to save your ammo for the real battles. At the first HOA meeting, I pitched a peer project me engineering unit would build a walkway linking our neighborhood to a new marina across the bay. It'd boost home values by 20%, bring in tourists, and make Pinewood Shores the envy of the coast. The room lit up with excitement, neighbors already dreaming of bigger equity checks. But Evelyn sat there, stone-faced, her fingers tapping her notepad like she was counting down to an ambush. Her eyes flicked to my blueprints with a glint I couldn't place. Jealousy, maybe, or something darker. I brushed it off as her hating change, but I should have known better. Right before I shipped out, Evelyn sent an email that hit like a gut punch. "Dear Major Ethan Brooks, it started, all sugar and venom. While you're serving our nation, rest assured the HOA will ensure Pinewood Shores upholds its commitment to safety and standards." It was signed with her full title, Evelyn Harper, HOA President, like she was penning a royal decree. My gut screamed warning, but I was too deep in pre-deployment chaos to act. 3 weeks into Kuwait, my phone buzzed during a briefing. It was my buddy, Marcus Tate, who'd promised to watch my place. His voice crackled with rage. "Ethan, brace yourself." That which Evelyn lost her mind. "She drained your lake, called it a public health crisis." "It's personal, man." The story spilled out like shrapnel. Evelyn had called a sham HOA meeting while I was unreachable, claiming my lake bred mosquitoes and threatened the neighborhood. She didn't have enough votes, and half the room walked out in disgust, but she pushed through anyway. By dawn, her crew was pumping Serenity Lake dry, Evelyn directing them like a general on a vendetta. Neighbors who questioned her got a wave of her fake emergency resolution. The environmental report she used was pure fiction, doctored photos of algae, made-up studies about water tables destabilizing homes. It was slick enough to fool a layman, but flimsy as tissue to anyone with a brain. Worse, she timed it perfectly, knowing I was locked down in a no-com zone. My lake, my refuge, was now a cracked, fish-strewn crater. Marcus sent me a photo of Evelyn standing at the edge, grinning like she'd just conquered Rome. That image burned into me, fuel for the fight I was already planning. Back in Kuwait, I called Saren Gwynn, my company's lawyer and a legal shark who could sniff out loopholes like blood in the water. I laid out everything, and she didn't hesitate. "I'm on it," she said, her voice all business. "Finish your mission. I'll have a war plan by the time you're back." Sarah dug into Evelyn's actions and found a cesspool of fraud. The meeting was illegal, no quorum, no notice. The report cited laws that didn't exist. And then there was the Bill $9,200 for emergency lake remediation, complete with charges for hazard oversight and community liaison services, aka Evelyn's time spent gloating. It was extortion dressed up as civic duty. Sarah's deeper dive into Evelyn's past cracked the case wide open. 7 years ago, Evelyn was a hotshot developer with a plan to turn Pinewood Shores into a commercial hub: condos, shops, the works. It would have made her millions, but the county shut her down. Why? The land's water systems, including my lake, were protected for ecological reasons. Her dream imploded, tanking her finances and, her divorce records, her marriage. My peer project, set to unlock the same land she'd lost, was salt in her wound. I wasn't just a neighbor. I was a walking reminder of her failure, my military clout, and engineering skills, everything she'd never had. Serenity Lake wasn't just water to her, it was the ghost of her ruined empire. Evelyn didn't stop at the lake. She buried me in violation notice. Sesame grass was too wild, my mailbox off color, my empty house somehow too loud. The kicker? She cited me for the unsightly mud pit she'd made, blaming me for her mess. It was desperate, sloppy, and exactly what I needed. During a video call with Sarah and Marcus, staring at my peer plans, it hit me. The project's contract had a clause: any material breach of community cooperation could halt it. Evelyn's stunts were a textbook breach. Sarah grinned like a wolf. "She's done," she said, drafting a notice to suspend the peer project, citing Evelyn's bad faith actions. It was a legal nuke, polite but deadly, warning that her vendetta was tanking everyone's property values. The fallout was instant. Neighbors freaked as their 20% equity gains vanished. Buyers ghosted, loans stalled, and the marina investors, livid at risking millions, demanded Evelyn's head. The community turned on her overnight, her reign as HOA queen crumbling. She called me, voice shaking with panic and fury. "You're destroying me," she shrieked. "My reputation, my leadership gone." I kept my tone ice cold, trained from years of high-stakes briefings. "You did this, Evelyn. You drained my lake while I was serving. You chose revenge over your neighbors. You built this mess, not me." The line went silent, her defeat audible. Evelyn made one last stand at an emergency HOA meeting, packed with furious residents. She waved a 1960s survey map, claiming my lake was community property she'd rightfully reclaimed. Her voice trembled as she spun a tale of duty, but her hands shook, betraying her. I'd already called Sarah, who'd scoured county records. She found gold. The surveyor was Evelyn's father, Harold Harper, whose shoddy work had botched property lines for decades. His community lake was a pipe dream, never built due to unstable soil. Harold's license was revoked for negligence, his signature on Evelyn's map a damning link to her lies. She was wielding her father's failures as a weapon, just as she'd inherited his knack for screwing over neighbors. I stood up in that meeting, the air thick with tension, phones out to record the showdown. "Folks," I said, calm as a briefing room, "let me set the record straight." I laid out the evidence: Evelyn's illegal meeting, her fake report, her harassment. Then I dropped the bomb. This map Evelyn's waving? It's her father's work. Harold Harper, disgraced surveyor, stripped of his license for errors like this one. There's no community lake. She's lying to cover her tracks. The room gasped. Evelyn's face went white, her pointer clattering to the floor. Residents glared, some muttering curses, as the truth sank in. She'd betrayed them all, her father's legacy a mirror of her own deceit. I laid out my terms: full restitution for my lake, admission of her violations, her resignation, and a public apology. The vote was a slaughter, 92-4. Evelyn slunk out as rain battered the windows, the hum of restoration pumps already reviving my lake. The peer project roared back, home values soared, and the new HOA head, a no-nonsense retiree named Clara Ruiz, vowed transparency. Months later, I sat on my dock with Marcus and Sarah, beers in hand, the lake sparkling under a June 2024 sunset. To real neighbors, Marcus toasted, and to HOA tyrants who learn the hard way. We clinked bottles, the water's calm a testament to justice won. So what do you think? Was Evelyn just a power-hungry bully, or did her past justify her rage? Should I have gone easier on her, or was total victory the only way? Have you ever faced an HOA nightmare like this? Drop your stories below, hit that like button if you felt the burn, and subscribe for more tales where the little guy fights back. Let's stir up some debate. What's the worst HOA move you've seen?